Now, a few hours before the general elections in Nigeria, a senatorial candidate has been shot dead and his body burnt by the attackers while on his way from a campaign rally in the southern state of Enugu. The death of Omoshola of the Labour Party happened on Wednesday before Sunday's general elections, which are being described as the country's most competitive polls in 24 years. Local media report that his aide, who was with him, had also been shot before their car was set ablaze with their bodies inside. The Labour Party has not commented on the attack, but its presidential candidate, Peter Obi, has been urging supporters to vote correctly, peacefully and hopefully. Now, join us live from Lagos to discuss this. We have Omoshola Deji, a political scientist. Warm welcome to you, Omoshola. Thanks for joining us on the news.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Now, Omoshola, the gruesome murder of a senatorial candidate in the southern state of Enugu, Omoshola, has once again brought to the fore the issue of political assassination. Would you say this was politically motivated, and what can security operatives do to prevent such incidents from repeating itself in the future?
Well, the security agencies will be the best to come out with their findings. But as a political scientist, and this this unfortunate event haven't happened during the political season, so I could be able to interpret it politically. Now, there has been attacks in the state. The APC has witnessed attack, the Labour Party has witnessed an attack, and now the PDP witnessed some attack days ago too. So what I can figure out as a political scientist is the involvement of private militia or different armed or cult groups. So what I can see it as is a reprisal attack, because it is not to one party now. Each political party has experienced one attack or the other. And if you look at how men of the underworld operate, if they want to repay back an attack, they try to make it more gruesome than the one that they've suffered. And we know in Nigeria that Nigerian politicians mostly rely on money, political thuggery, and the involvement of private militia or cultists, as the case may be. So in this case, I see the involvement of private militia, because the Labour Party senatorial candidate was shot dead, was not only shot dead, was burnt. So that shows that the people that came did not come to steal, did not come to just only cut away with property. They came with a very vexatious mindset for them to have not only killed the candidate, but to also go ahead and kill his aide and burn them, burn their properties, burn the car. That shows that it is not just like a normal, regular attack.
There's a message there was a message they were trying to pass. Now, Omoshola, the Labour Party has called for the postponement of Enugu East senatorial election after its candidate's murder. Do you see INEC granting this request?
Well, I don't see INEC granting the request, because no matter what happens, the state must move on. No matter the circumstance, once there are events that cripple the ability of the state to move on as planned and as scheduled, then we are building a recipe for anarchy. Because if we say that the Labour Party candidate has been murdered, then if INEC postpone the election of that particular constituency, what if tomorrow another candidate of an irrelevant party is murdered or is sick or something? So by the virtue of the power vested on the state, which is determined by time in a democracy, by May 29, the current dispensation must hand over, and there are time limits constitutionally before that occurs. So for me, the election must go on as planned. What will happen is, at the end of the day, the Labour Party now has to substitute the candidate, and I think there are constitutional provisions for that. We saw what happened during the election of Kogi of Abubakar Audu, when he died. The process did not stop. INEC just had to conduct, and that is why it is constitutionally permitted that when you are voting, you are not voting for the candidate, you are voting for the party. So right now, the party is not dead. the party is alive. So because the party is alive and not dead right now, the election has to go on because people are presumed to be voting for the party and not the candidate. So irrespective of who the candidate is, he's just flying the flag of the party, and other parties that are prepared will not want to a situation whereby the election will not be postponed. So constitutionally, the election will go on as planned. That will not warrant for a shift of the election in that particular constituency.
Now, finally, Omoshola, the Labour Party also noted that his death has become one too many following the continual attacks on its members across the country. Elections are a civic exercise. Why does it seem to be a do or death affair in Nigeria?
Well, the reason why it's a do or death affair in Nigeria is because of the premium we place on politics. Politics is too lucrative, and everybody wants to rush into a lucrative business, as the case is in Nigeria. Now, the Nigerian society revolves around power. Power is an essential commodity in Nigeria, whereby when you have power, you command and control so many things. So, because the premium we place on politics is high, everybody wants to go into the political arena. So, what we need to do is to make politics unattractive. If you see people today, what is your occupation? They say, I'm a politician. When does being a politician becomes a full-time job? But when we demystify politics, when we make it unattractive, people will look for other alternative trade, and that will reduce all these problems that we have as regards election and power, making it a do or die affair, all this killing and all that. So we need to make it less attractive in such a way that even if you go into politics, you are likely to come out even poorer, as it is in other climes. If that is the case, we will have less involvement in the political process, and it will even save our country a lot of expenses in terms of crime, in terms of you see politicians going to sell their houses, borrow loan. They have turned into political investors just because the game they are entering into, they know it's very lucrative. Once you win the election in this our winner takes it all system, you are more like an emperor. So we need to reduce the premium of politics. That's
Thank you for your contribution and your time, Omoshola Deji. We do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. My pleasure.